You're listening to the Super League pod, coming up on episode 143 of your favourite Rugby League podcast. We've got all your feedback and shout-outs, news from around the world of Rugby League. We will look back at the Magic Weekend, as well as previewing rounds 15 and 16 of Super League play, and we'll probably throw in a bit of trivia as well, just to see how we all get on. Strap yourselves in, kids. It's time for your favourite Rugby League podcast, the Super League pod. Okay, everyone. Hi, and welcome to episode 143 of the Super League pod. Normally we'd start the show with a little bit of back and forth about how Mark and I's weeks have been, but in the aftermath of Monday's horrific and senseless attack at the Manchester Arena, and in memory of the children that were lost and out of respect for the families that had loved ones taken from them, we've decided to take a moment's pause and then carry on with the show as usual. Our podcast is pretty insignificant in the larger scheme of things, and while our thoughts and prayers might do little to assuage the feelings of anybody impacted by such cruel and unnecessary violence, both Mark and I feel it's important to add our voice to the millions of others crying out that it is only as a united human race that we can truly overcome such evil, and to highlight to everyone that even in the face of such tragedy, our true humanity can still be seen in the actions of Manchester's first responders and in those of her inhabitants who, without a second thought, threw their arms open to those affected by this terrible attack, offering shelter, warmth and love without condition to those people most in need of it, regardless of their creed, age, gender or religion. So, without further mention of the evil that was perpetrated, and with love in our hearts, we continue unabated in the memory of those whose lives were stolen yesterday. So, welcome to the Super League pod. I'm joined as always by Wigan fan Mark, and I'm Bradford fan Tom. To talk about everything Rugby League related. Obviously there's a bit of a pall cast over the show, but how's your week been, Mark? What have you been up to?
Watched lots of rugby.
Yes.
I've got a bit of a confession to make around the Wigan game.
Did you bet on a draw?
No.
Alright.
I was watching the game and felt like it was going to slip away from us, and then it did, because Joe Burgess is in the centre. And then when we conceded the dropout with 3 minutes to go,
you turned it off.
Well, I was already running late for a social engagement anyway, but I hadn't planned on staying in and watching the Wigan game to its conclusion, but I was drawn in too much. But then I turned it off, got in the car, thought nothing more of it, got to the pub.
I love this story.
I walked in, and on the screen was a happy looking Liam Marshall, and I was like, what, being interviewed, and I was like, I know he got a hat trick, but 24 all? So I feel like a bit of a fraud, but
well, I don't think we could level that at you, but fair play for
but there you go. That's pretty funny. That's my week pretty much summed up until last night.
Yeah, my week had been lovely as well. We did quite a lot of family stuff, kid orientated stuff. Emma and I, which involved going to the trampoline park in Blackpool, which is abject chaos, but kids love it and stuff like that. So it's just been a quiet one, really. It's meant I could watch a bit more rugby league than I have been doing since I've been living a bit more of a glamorous lifestyle. So I feel a bit better equipped this week. But it's been a lovely week, and of course, even the weather's beautiful, isn't it, at the moment? So it helps it's certainly helping getting out and about and enjoying the sport for next weekend in good shape, since the weather's meant to be wonderful for the Blackpool Bash. But I'm certain we'll get onto that later in the show.
We'll need to sort out plans for that. Probably an off-air conversation.
No, I think it's an on-air conversation.
Right. Well,
these are the sorts of things that we do talk about on air. Strap yourselves in, kids.
Well, I'm going to try and get there for I'll be getting there on whatever train gets me in for about 11ish, I think it'll be. So I'll be through St Anne's.
I won't be coming through St Anne's, I'll be coming from Cleveley's, so I will be getting dropped off about 11:30.
Right.
So I'll just meet you at the ground.
Yeah.
And go from there. And then I'll be getting the tram back up to Cleveley's once the Bulls' annihilation is finished. And then I'll meet you back there on Sunday morning.
Is that so?
That is so.
Fair enough.
Oh, come on. It's not like the Bulls aren't going to get their arses handed to them.
No. I'm more.
I've been looking for a hip
you
flash.
to not turn up on the second.
No, I'm coming. No, I'm all sorted. Erin's going down to West Yorkshire with my mum and dad for the day. So It's a bank holiday, so we're all good. We are all sorted.
Bank holiday brings us to just a quick heads up that we'll be recording on Tuesday next week.
Yes, there you go. I've been researching hip flasks.
Have you?
Well, I can't get one in time now, so I think what I'll have to do is have an apple juice.
I think that security may be tighter in terms of its searches than it may have been in years past, and that's fully understandable.
Of course,
I think anyone attending any major events, sporting or otherwise, in the near future should be prepared and patient for such things.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, who's been getting in touch with us this week, Mark?
Well, we're going to start with some new people. Welcome to all the new people who got on board. Last week was one of our better weeks this year.
Good.
A little bit up, 10% up maybe on the few weeks before that, so that's good. And a few new people to get to cover off first. So we start with Kev Marm at Trumpton Riots. He says, "Is this pod out every week or month? I've not listened to it before, but I'm going to give it a go."
Well, we let him know that it's out every week.
Yeah, welcome along, Kev. We record usually on a Monday release, midnight-ish on a Monday night, Tuesday morning, but this week we're a day late, but you still can enjoy us all the way through to
you've got 7 days of juicy Tom and Mark goodness to look forward to.
Another new Kev, at Kev Ogley, if you want to get around him on Twitter. He says, and he's been listening already as Kev, he says, "Now then, lads, Leeds fan living in Trinidad. Rugby League barely exists here, but all Super League and NRL games are available on Fox Soccer Plus."
Fantastic. I'm riddled with jealousy.
So I think that's our first Caribbean correspondent.
Caribbean island life. Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, Kev.
That's brilliant, Kev. And let us know your story, because we're always interested in how you found us, how you came to be like a rugby league loving person living in
Trinidad,
somewhere out of the way.
I think he lost his passport whilst on a holiday and hasn't gone back.
I'm not sure, but he seems like a sport-loving chap and gets around the island.
Good for him. Okay, Mike Dodd, who's this chap?
Also someone I've not, whose name didn't immediately spring as familiar, but at Mike Dodd 22 starts a bit of a section for us. He said, "Is it bad that I keep rewinding the last 3 minutes and 56 seconds of this week's podcast?"
See, I fucking well knew that bringing Gloria Estefan out would like worming. Do you know what I mean? If you shake the ground enough, the worms will rise to the top. Not that Mike's a worm, but you know what I mean. It draws people out, doesn't it? And bit of Gloria Estefan.
It seems like a lot of people enjoyed it because Wally Frogmore got in touch. He said, "The rhythm got me. I had it stuck in my head ever since listening. Can't believe Tom didn't get Matty Johns in the quiz. It's not like he never played for his team."
No, true. Yes, I know.
I love the NRL parts of the trivia for two reasons. One, it gives me a chance, and two, the reaction to Tom being stumped by Mark.
I feel like I'm starting to lose patience with the tough questions now. Whereas before I was like, "Yeah, fine, no, you've got that. Oh, come on, I'm not going to get it. Move on."
This week it's not NRL linked. I found another topic for us closer to home.
I can see your lip curling into a smile though, so I'm not going to get cocky.
So we'll save some Origin related trivia for next week.
Cool.
It's a precursor to the big event down under. No, we have a little bit of a quiz that relates to both Magic Weekend and the Summer Bash.
Fabulous.
Later in the show.
Excellent. Okay, Wally continues to say.
He said, also, as established in the past, I'm a music nerd, so I was almost at the point of screaming at my phone as you were trying to work out the Paula and Gloria songs.
I don't think we never got confused between the two, did we?
You did.
Did I?
Well,
no.
I think Tim G started it.
I know the difference between Gloria Estefan and...
Well, Paula Abdul was around before Gloria Estefan, I think.
Oh god, we're doing it again. No, they were both producing music in the 80s, mate. It was about the same time.
I thought Gloria Estefan was like very much late 80s, early 90s.
The album Anything For You came out in 1980, between 85 and 87.
I just brought it up to do it again,
there you go.
To lighten things as we go through. Fat Boy Rob said, "What a treat at the end of the Super League pod. That song has aged better than Andy Lynch."
It certainly has.
Lee Whitnell said, the world saying, "You can't blend rugby league and 80s Cuban American pop. Tom and Mark, hold our beers."
Yes, exactly. I was so proud of that moment.
Alan Walker said, "Another top up, caught up with Super League after having a weekend so full of work I missed rugby league and the beach. Not having that ain't on."
Oh dear.
Rich Wilkinson said, now then lads, poor Scoots, I'd totally forgotten I got in touch and was pleasantly surprised with my shout out. Unlucky Scoots." And then Scoot, Sarah McKenzie, got in touch and said, "An excellent addition with considerably less swearing than the last one."
Well,
I didn't
think we were too. I might have dropped.
I guess the parents who want to try and share bits with their kids who
We're not here to babysit your kids for you. We're here to talk rugby league and take names.
We'll notice it more than me. As you know, when I'm, even when I'm in professional environments, my filter isn't exactly
nor is mine.
Always robust.
I think it's my language. More broadly in the podcast, I think it's my language.
I don't think so.
Down. Do you not think?
Well, I'm famous for my rants. That must include lots of swearing.
You're quite.
I don't really think about it.
No,
that's the thing.
No.
We
will try hard at those scoops. We're sorry.
Paul O'Brien at POB 1976. Another great show from the lads. Is it just me, or does Tom's laugh sometimes go a little Jimmy Carr?
I've got a couple of laughs. I've got the Jimmy Carr kind of. I'm not going to try and do it, but that higher pitch one. Yeah, exactly. But I get called Frank Bruno from time to time by my dad because I do a bit of sort of hello Harry and all that sort of thing. So no, you're not the first person to notice that, Paul.
There you go. I used to have like a silent laugh. Like I'd laugh, you'd sort of laugh so hard that no noise actually comes out.
Like when Ernie out of Sesame Street would laugh at Bert, he would kind of go, wouldn't he?
Yeah, my favourite laugh of all laughs is John Cassidy's laughing at his own jokes. That he finds like disturbingly funny laughs. Anyone who is with us at the weekend might get to enjoy that on Saturday.
Excellent.
So there you go. Elliot Wrench said, I was plucking a G-string whilst listening to this episode. You should too. Truly epic. And so is the show. It's a bit more of his musical endeavours.
Yes.
Well,
I sincerely hope so.
David Parr gets in touch. This one's way off topic. He goes, not a review, but a recommendation. Have you ever tried or worn the cushioned socks from Marks and Spencer's? Life changer. Once worn, you will never wear anything else. Try them, then recommend them, as I'm sure you'll agree, cushioned socks, game changer.
This is singularly the most middle class thing we've ever read out in 143 episodes. Bravo, mate.
I actually...
Why am I not surprised?
Replied to it.
Oh, right, I was going to say
that I recently bought a set of cushioned sole socks from Next. And I said, you'll appreciate this, but I don't think David quite appreciated where I come from in the realms of excitement. So I said that they're decent.
Yeah.
And that means I think
high praise indeed.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Get yourself some. But he just thought, only decent. Get the Marks ones instead then. They're amazing. I don't think he realises that I underplay compliments.
That's basically you firing your gun in the air and screaming, isn't it? Saying something's decent. Yeah, well done. Nice work though, Dave. Hopefully we get to see Dave again this weekend coming.
I've not heard anything of that. He's busy getting around watching his Goliath of a son playing in the Saints Academy.
Yeah, there you go. Well, with some luck, but we'll talk more about. We keep airing into Blackpool Bash, don't we? We'll talk about that in a bit.
Darts at Mitchell Darts says, quiz results. I got all the NRL based brothers, but let's not discuss how I went on the others. He's like the opposite of you.
Yeah.
Put both of you together and you do good on
Between me and Mitchell, we know everything there is to know about rugby league.
Yeah, it's a great episode always. Nothing too different from your guys' dream teams. He said his would be Hardacre, Minikin, Tumavavi, Percival, Eden, Williams, Gale, Moores, Parcell, Walmsley, McMeekan, Murdoch, Masilla, and then he throws in Milner at the end. So the only person who didn't make either of our teams
was James Milner.
Adam
Milner. Certainly James Milner didn't.
I expected a little bit of. Whenever someone does one of these teams, I expected some backlash from somewhere, but
no, we got away unscathed, really, didn't we? I think to be honest, we made some pretty sensible shouts, didn't we? There was nothing really outlandish. Maybe Chris Wellen, but then he had a blinder of the game this weekend again.
I saw one online where someone had put Joe Moon in.
Oh dear!
In the halves, and that
not quite. Anyway, Fat Boy Rob got in touch.
Again, and he said, I think the problem with so this was when we were talking about the cup, the attendances in the last round and that sort of thing. Rob says, I think the problem with the cup is partly the timing and cost, just before Magic Weekend and a double league weekend. I think that's valid for the previous round before, but we've seen declining crowds in the cup all over. I just think back your sides, go and watch them.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you can afford to, but totally appreciate that this round doesn't fit right. Normally we wouldn't have the double header next week.
Yeah.
So,
I don't feel like the cup has lost any of its magic for the players. I think it's lost its magic for the fans.
I don't think it's lost its magic. I think it's lost its appeal financially.
Yeah.
Rather than, we all still dream of our team winning at Wembley sort of thing. The talk of it moving from Wembley is utter nonsense.
Yeah, garbage.
I mean, there's some sensible things or ideas or at least, conversations being brought to the table by people like Draper, but this one is ferociously wrong.